We should be live. There we go. Okay, so you guys, Kelly could not be here today. He did want to be here though. And so he let me know that he put together a little training for you guys. And he said that this is something that every agent that he has gone through this with, or every time he's done this presentation, agents are ecstatic and absolutely love it. It's all about some free lead generation that you can do on Facebook, I believe. And so he has this all set up. And wants me to just go ahead and push play and get this going for you guys. So he had to take his granddaughter to a dance recital class today, and he should be back probably about an hour after we're done with the live training. So he set up some prep for us to make things easy. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we'll get this StreamYard started. I got to make sure that I am sharing my sound with you guys so that you all can hear this. And we'll go ahead and press play.
Hey guys, today I'm not able to be with you, but I want to give you a quick training on some free buyer lead gen strategies using Facebook.
It's in my speaker or my headset.
Using your cell phone.
It's hard for me to hear.
Something called text replacement and your lender, right? So this is great. Every time I ramp this up, I generate tons of leads. So hang with me. And what's great about this is Brian is recording this so you can go back and watch it. So if you have a business account with Facebook, this is going to work really well. First thing I want you to do, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, is I want you to go to the groups tab on Facebook. This is absolutely important. I want you to go ahead and hit the word discover. And what I want you to do is look for Facebook groups near you. Now, the best type of Facebook groups would be buy, sell. Okay, let me see if I can pull these up. So look for buy, sell groups near you. And let me go back. When you find these buy sell groups, you're going to join them. Okay. Just literally join the group. Now, let me make sure you guys understand what I'm talking about. Go to Facebook, join buy sell groups within 30 miles of your location. Couple parameters on the buy sell groups. You only join them if they have a minimum of 5,000 members. You only join 5 a day. I don't want you to spam and get Facebook wondering why you're joining 100 groups a day. That'll get you in trouble. Join 5 a day, which is perfectly fine, and do that for a solid week. That's 35 groups that you'll be a part of, right? Once you've joined these groups and you've been accepted, here's what you're going to do. On most groups, and let me just go and show you what I mean. If I go to one of my groups, okay? Here's one of my groups. When you go to the group, now this is a group I actually am an admin over, you're going to hit the word discussion. And this is where you're going to drop your comment. Now, let me make sure you guys understand this strategy. You're going to be using Facebook groups to put a message out. And I'm going to call this my renter to homeowner program. And on this strategy, you're going to completely use your cell phone to do it, right? You're not going to do it on your computer. So you're going to join all the groups on your phone, and you're going to post on those groups with your phone, and you're going to respond with your phone, right? So we got this concept. Now, why is this important? Because you're going to be able to, once you start getting responses of interested, it's going to make sense in a minute. You're going to be able to create Facebook groups with you, them, and your lender, and keep everything warehoused in one easy to use conversational piece. So one of the things that you're going to need to also learn how to do is something called text replacement. So when I'm on my phone, let me show it to you right here. If I go to send me a message, right? So there I am right there. If I just simply type in the word KW in the message bar, KW, that pulls up, right? And then I just send it to myself. That's called text replacement. You're texting a phrase that you've already pre-populated a sentence structure, so you don't have to type it all the time, right? So if you want to learn how to do that, go to YouTube right here and just simply search for the term text replacement. And if you have an Android, do text replacement on Android. If you have an iPhone, just simply do a text replacement on iPhone. These videos are 3 to 4 minutes long, and they are so simple. And guys, when you learn how to use text replacement, it'll change your life, right? A lot of these things that you've been typing the same thing over and over, you simply use text replacement. And we'll go into more training on that in the future, but wow, it will make your life so much easier. So back to Facebook. Once you have joined a bunch of these groups, you're going to go and start a discussion. Now, you're going to drop a comment right here. And here, if I were using my phone, I would drop in H1, right? And then this phrase would populate and I would just submit it. It would say something like, looking for potential renters to join my homeowner program. If you're looking to move from renting to homeowner and you've got a 580 credit score and you've been working for at least 2 years, doesn't have to do the same job, comment below. And guys, you're going to start getting comments. Interested. You're going to have people say F off, scam, whatever. Never, ever, ever respond in that thread. Guys, when you have a thread of people that are responding, don't ever respond in the thread. You're going to hover over their name on your phone with your finger, and you're going to bring up a private message. That's where you type in the second message. So let's walk through this. Facebook, a lender that you're in tight with, your cell phone, join a bunch of Facebook groups, no more than 5 a day. Then go to that group on the discussions tab and start using the discussions tab to generate interest. Now, this program that I have is called Renter to Homeowner, right? And so the first message again that I'll type in is looking for people that want to go, looking for people for my Renter to Homeowner program. 580 credit score, working at least 2 years, doesn't have to be the same job. Drop comments below, right? As they come in and they say interested, you're going to send them a private message. You're not going to respond on that thread. Now you're going to do a private message to them. And the second message, you're going to say, thank you for responding. Do you have a 580 score and at least 2 years of income? It doesn't have to be the same job. If they come back and say yes, that's where you want them to be. If they come back and say no, then you know this isn't a good candidate. But let's just say they come back and say yes on that thread. Here's what that's going to look like. This is a client. This is a lender I've used. This is an old one that I did. And then I'm a part of this thread. And so then what you do is using your text replacement, you'll drop this comment on a private message in your group chat with the lender and the client. Thank you for responding back. My lender partner is amazing. She will be giving you some great information on our Renter to Homeowner program and will introduce herself on this messenger thread. Please note that no one will pressure you to do anything. We just need you. We just need to see if you will be a good fit. We work extremely hard at getting families into their dream home. So if you're ready to schedule a call, click here. Now, the lender went ahead and responded right here. Good. And now this one never went anywhere. Guys, when I do this, I generate 50 to 60 buyer leads for free. But here's her response. Good afternoon. And this was 9/9/20 of last year. Good afternoon. And we closed 3 deals last year at the end of last year using this strategy. Good afternoon and happy Wednesday. Congrats on taking the first steps toward homeowners. This is her response. That's why you create that Facebook group. You want that group for the third and final message to include your lender. So again, guys, Facebook groups are a great source for you to generate some really good traction for people that you can start to vet. Majority of them are not going to be good quality leads, but if you generate 50, there could be 4 or 5 in there that can have a conversation and maybe 1 or 2 that you can get approved. And guys, it didn't cost you $1 to generate those leads. Now, let's take this one step further. When you do this strategy, I typically will post in 3 groups at a time, not every day, because I just simply can't handle the amount of interest. So I'll do like every week, I'll do 3 posts, maybe 1 today, 1 tomorrow, 1, or do all 3, and 3 different groups, the same message in all 3 groups. And then I have my lender tag there. Our sole purpose is to see who's willing to fill out the lender's credit app, right? And if we can get that done and get them approved, then it's just simply a matter of finding out when their time frame is. And guys, if they're not ready to buy today, but maybe 3 months from now, because you got them approved, that's your client. Now you just stay in communication with them over the next couple months and finally get them in their home. And guys, I have used this over and over. It's a killer strategy for you guys to get yourself lead generation. Now, Brian, in just a minute, I want you to share with them how they can take and create inside of Leads to ROI a funnel page, right? Even take one of your down payment assistance pages, clone it, tweak it, add some info about your lender, put a link in there for them to go ahead and go to the page for the lender for them to go ahead and fill out the app. Maybe embed a video there about you or have your lender shoot one with you. But guys, if you use Leads to ROI's funnel page, you can track them, right? You can track them. So Brian, this would be a good one when I'm done to share with them how to take Leads to ROI with this buyer strategy and drop that page in this third message and this private chat with you, the lender, and the client. And we can start working them by utilizing the CRM the way it was meant to be and scheduling yourself some closings. And then lastly, what I want to share with this, for those of you, and Brian, I believe might touch on this when I'm done. For those of you that haven't heard yet, make sure you schedule an appointment with Brian. This will be a separate appointment. We've got a new national program, and I'm not going to go into detail about it right now, other than to let you know that this program is good in all 50 states. It will help you get your buyers approved quicker. Every time you use this program and you close your buyer, you get an additional $500 income from every closed buyer you're not getting right now. They also, with this program, if you generate these leads and you use this program, they are going to start sending you free pre-approved buyers in your area. And there's some other things that you can do with regard to this program. Brian, you may or may not want to touch base on it when this video is over. But guys, what a great strategy. And I know this is a little scatterbrained, but I wanted to bring this to you. And of course, if you want, you can reach out to me and we can go into a little bit more detail if you want some help. But again, Facebook groups, don't join any more than 5 a day, 5,000 people or more per group. Stick with the buy-sell groups. Stay away from the, mother breastfeeding groups, church groups, all of that. Buy-sell groups work really good. 5,000 or more people, join no more than 5 a day. When you start using this strategy, only post 2 or 3 times a week. You don't want to spam it. And then never, ever, ever respond on the actual thread. Always hover over their name until a private message box pops up, and then use that as your second conversation. And then your third one, if they respond positively, is where you go in and literally create a group in Facebook with you, the lender, and the client, and then start this process of vetting them. Guys, I'm telling you right now, it's free lead generation and it works. It's based on volume, not quality, right? So there you go, guys. Start implementing this strategy right away. Don't spend a freaking dollar on leads. This is the way to do it if you want to go free. And Brian, go ahead. I'm done. Take over. Let everybody know if they want to get with you. You can schedule that one-on-one about the new lending program. And then I would also, Brian, if you have time, talk about how to implement one of the funnels inside of Leads to ROI on this third message right here that we talked about, how we could drop that here and use that to track these leads if they start doing them. All right, guys, have a great one. And I hope it's only 12 minutes, so it wasn't that bad, but I hope this was very impactful for you. I'm sorry that I'm not with you. And obviously, if you have any questions, I'm sure Brian can help fill some of those answers. This is a no-brainer. It's not rocket science, but it's very, very powerful. Have a great day, guys.
Awesome. So what did you guys think about Kelly's training on going into Facebook groups and generating some free leads from those local buy sells? Does that pique anybody's interest? Get anybody excited for some ways to find some free buyers without spending any money? Awesome. I always love all of the different strategies that Kelly implements to help generate free leads and get free contacts. I think that's one of my favorite things about him, is he's always trying to help everybody and make sure that he gets everybody that's in his user base or that's following him. All of you guys, he wants to make sure that everybody does well and sees success just like us. So it's a big part of our mission, making sure that all the agents that are part of our platform have every tool and resource necessary for you guys to go ahead and dominate your local marketplace. Now, Kelly does want us to talk about Premier Turbo Leads today as well. I know we did a live training on Premier Turbo Leads a little while back, or a couple weeks ago. It is an awesome opportunity. Now, we signed up as well through this as an S Corp. I'm not a licensed agent. William's not a licensed agent, but I've been working with agents for over 7 years. And we've helped thousands of agents grow their businesses through marketing or by utilizing systems and processes like with Leads to ROI, so that we can give you guys tools and resources to grow, manage your client relations, and ultimately capture, nurture, and close more business. Now, The thing that really gets me excited about Premier Turbo Leads is that you don't have to be a licensed mortgage representative, and they've found a way around it by franchising that you can actually profit from every single deal that gets closed, or that you close. So I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to share my screen really fast. I'm going to show you guys actually the calculator that these guys put in place, so you can see what kind of earning potentials you guys can have from this. But I'm also going to go ahead and share the link if you guys do want to join or take a look into it, so that you guys can have more information about Premier Turbo Leads. Now, they provide you guys with a calculator so that you can see what type of revenue you would be able to gain from them. A couple of things that really piqued my interest about this. They have 4 levels of downline. So it's not the 7 that you would see with EXP, but you still have 4 levels of share line, and opportunity for you guys to grow. So if you were to bring an agent on that joined this, they brought an agent on the join, they brought an agent on the join, you would still get paid out for their closed deals all the way down that line, which I think is really awesome. Now, for your share, let's say you were to bring a client to the table and you needed to get them pre-approved. They actually pay you out upon pre-approval. Once that loan is funded and the deal is closed, you get a $500 kickback from that loan being closed and that deal being funded. So it's a way for agents to gain additional revenue on every single closing that you do where a lender is involved, and you needed to assist them with that pre-approval process and get the ball rolling for them there. Now you guys can see that share line 1, anyone that you bring in, if they go and close a deal using the platform, there's $175 that you guys get to keep in your pocket. Share line 2, there's another $100 that goes back into your pocket. 3, $50, and then share line 4 is 125 or is 25. So the model is quite a bit different from how you would see like an EXP model, because throughout those tiers and those lines, you'll have fluctuations. So say line 1, you earn up to $900. I don't know exactly what EXP's model is off the top of my head, but I'm just kind of going off of what I've seen in the past. Say line 1, you can earn 900 off of them capping. Line 2, it's 700. Line 3, it's 1300. So it fluctuates throughout the lines and it goes up and down. With these guys, it's just a direct down the line measurement. You're losing 75 from line 1 to 2, 50 from line 2 to 3, and then 25 from line 3 to 4. But it still gives you the opportunity to get paid out every step of the way. What piqued my interest about these guys is that instead of being either a traditional mortgage brokerage or working with the big banks, they work with everybody. So you can give your buyers a much better potential of getting pre-approved in a one-stop shop going through the Premier Turbo team. So they're going to go out there, shop all the different rates. They're going to shop all the different programs that are available and really focus on what's going to be best for your buyer so that they can get them approved and get things rocking and rolling. Now, this calculator, you guys can go to joinpremierturboteam.com/calculator and run some calculations for yourself. We've done several meetings with the team. Kelly and myself have done several meetings with the team over here at Premier Turbo Leads. And I would say, based off of all the data that they've said, the average agent that gets into their program and starts referring business does about 5 transactions per year. So if we look at that down the share line, you guys could look at, say, 5 transactions per year for yourself, which is where you'd make about $2,500 in additional income just on the business that you're already doing. And then if we take a look and just say our average person that joined did 5 transactions as well, and we look at total members. So let's just say you were to bring on 5 agents or refer 5 agents out to this program that joined under you. You can look at what your total share would look like over the course of a year with what the average agent in their program is doing. And so you guys can go ahead and play with this and run the numbers on all of these things. See if this is something that you would have interest in or something that you would want to do or something that would benefit you. So I just wanted to make sure that I got you guys a little bit more info on this, because if you were to bring in 5 people, each of those 5 people brought in 2, those 2 people brought in 1, and then those 1 people brought in 1, lower the transaction number to make things more realistic. this could be an additional 10,000 in net income that you guys have coming in annually just for doing what you're currently doing. And I know a lot of folks in here are EXP and are already doing something in that shared downline revenue model. I'm not going to go too deep into the Premier Turbo thing because I don't want this just to be like a sales pitch, but I see it as being a massive benefit because it can help you guys make more money. And the more money you can put in your pocket off of every deal, the better you're going to be, the happier you're going to be, and the more you're going to have to be able to put into your business so you can continue to grow. But these guys do have a franchise model. It costs $500 up front to get into the franchise. We signed up for it. And so the link that's in there is our link, and we are signed under Kelly. So if anybody thinks that this is interesting or wants to join, feel free to book a time with me, or I can get you synced up with Matt Middlestat, who works with Premier Turbo team, and he can cover everything A to Z with you guys on how the program works, what's out there, and what's available. We are also running a little pilot on this for the buyer side, that anybody that signs up on the Premier Turbo leads, we are actually going to take your buyer leads and we're going to throw them into our ISA pool, and we are going to call those leads out and get appointments booked for them. We're only taking on 3 people on that out of the gate because we don't want to overwhelm, and we don't want to take away from our agents that are currently part of the ISA platform. So we're only taking on 3 folks for that, and 1 seat has been filled. So if anybody is interested in that, get in contact with me and we can get you set up there and get things rocking and rolling. Now, outside of the Premier Turbo team, I think that Kelly's presentation that we were looking at and what he did, showing you guys how to go into those Facebook groups and just ask that simple question so that you can spark some responses, is awesome. There's a couple of other ways that you guys can go about doing that outside of just Facebook groups. And I'm kind of curious. I wanted to see, based off of that, did that spark anybody's interest or kind of get anybody's wheels going to say, oh, I could possibly do X, Y, or Z and generate the same thing? Did that get anybody else kind of moving in a direction to where they were thinking about, okay, well, I could implement this maybe over in this placement or here? Did that kind of get anybody's wheels turning? Marlene.
Hey, hi, Brian. I kind of started listening to it a little bit late. And what type of group did he say that we should be looking into when we're going to Facebook?
Definitely. So local buy-sell groups. So buy-sell groups that are in your area or in your local marketplace. And let me pull my Facebook up. I can give you guys a couple of other examples. There's also other groups like Real Estate In or Homes for Sale or things along those, but just look at buy-sell. Do this under groups. All right, so if I go ahead and share my screen. So essentially what Kelly's doing is searching for buy-sell groups. And then from the buy-sell, from searching, he's going down and clicking on groups itself. Once you click on groups, you can actually go ahead and expand this out based off of city and location. But Facebook's automatically going to pull up the places that are closest to you, right? And so you can see that I have 509 Tri-Cities buy-sell trade. It says 68,000 members in there. So you can go ahead and join that group, which I'm already a part of. But you go ahead and you join the group by just clicking the join here. So these are all groups that I am actually a part of. Let's find something that I'm not. I'm in a bunch of these because we do a lot of this stuff. But go ahead and just click the join button. Sometimes you'll have a series of questions that you'll have to answer before they allow you to join the group. But essentially what Kelly is doing is he's going in and then he's creating a post. And from that post, he's just posing a question. So he's saying something along the lines of, in that post of, if you're interested in learning the process of getting pre-approved to purchase a home, go ahead and reply below. And then once they reply, he's saying that instead of going into the comments and going here and replying to somebody in the comments, just hover over their name and click this send message right here. And then you can send them a direct message in reply. So Kelly doesn't reply to anybody in the actual chat itself. He does it via direct message. What I would recommend on these is when you start getting the messages back to you, I would go ahead and I would send a message to them, but then I would just simply let them know in the group sent direct message. Because if you're not friends with them, it's going to go into a little pond of messages called message requests in your drop down from Messenger here. And so they may not see it. And just by letting them know that you had sent them a DM with more information, they're going to then be able to go in and go, oh, okay, well, I got a DM. I didn't see it because we aren't friends. They can then go in, click the drop down, find their messages that were their message requests so that they can go and view those things, right? But I think that is a great way to get in front of your local audience and generate some leads at low cost. Now, the other thing that Kelly was talking about is text replacement. And this is just simply to save time and make things easier for you. You can do it via text replacement if you choose to do it that way. I think it's an awesome way to save you time when you're using your mobile. And if you're on the run and responding to those messages while you're on the go, typing in two little key letters and having that populate a full sentence is absolutely awesome. And there's about 100 tutorials on YouTube that teach you how to do those text replacements on either Android or on iPhone, so that you guys will be able to quickly set that up and follow those tutorial walkthroughs so that you can do those things. But I would look at, say, like buy sell groups. I would also look at, say, like real estate investments. Yes, I want to leave this page. Also do like real estate investment. And then of course you want to go under groups, and then you can find different groups that may be in your local marketplace. It's like, for example, let's say real estate investment Orlando. Let's see if we have anything that populates for this. And again, we want to click on groups. So Florida Real Estate Investors Group right here, this has 65,000 members. You can go ahead and click into there. If you had any kind of, say like an offer where you're working with a local investor and they're looking for a property, these groups share tons of real estate that's out there, and it's not always active and available on the MLS. So you can see this is just going to be a ton of list of properties, or I'm looking for a property in this area. So when you find folks that are looking for properties in particular locations, you guys can DM and direct message those folks right out of the gate. Once they've submitted this, once they've done this post, if you have this set up and you're getting notifications from the group, you may be one of the first agents to see that. And you can dive in and start that conversation and go through maybe an LP Mama where you're asking them the location, the price, the motivation, whether they're working with an agent, if they've done anything to get pre-approved for a mortgage, and then go ahead and set the appointment so you can go and start showing them properties. It's a great way to win some more additional free leads from the platform. Sue, we can definitely connect a little bit later and discuss a little bit more about that. And yes, I think that you would be a great candidate for doing that if Premier Turbo Leads is something that you wanted to pursue and move forward on. So I'd be more than happy to chat with you a little bit later about it. Now, do you guys have any questions on finding groups on Facebook or anything that you would like to see that's kind of more geared towards what Kelly's training was on capturing those free buyers or sellers?
I have a different question, Brian.
Shoot.
The test pilot that you were talking about with the buyers leads into the ISA call, is that open to just any one of us?
Yeah, so I don't know if Sue's going to take one of the spots or not, but we do have 2 spaces left that are available. So if it's something that you're interested in, there are a couple of requirements. So the first requirement is that you guys would need to sign up for Premier Turbo leads. Because if we are making those calls on your guys' behalf, we need to be able to make some kind of a profitability back from that. And this is why it's a pilot. We're only opening it up to a handful of people. The second requirement would be that you guys would run an ad for those that are in the platform. We'd want to see you get around 100 leads per month from the buyer side specifically. And we need to make sure that when we're running those buyer lead ads through Listings to Leads, that we're also collecting the beds, baths, price range, and time frame that they want to buy. So that way, when our callers reach out to them, we have a little bit more meat and potatoes for that call, and we can start to dive into their specific needs and what they're looking for, so we can then push that lead over to the lender application to get the process started. So yes, we are opening that to anybody, but the next couple of folks that decide that they want to sign up for Premier Turbo Team, we will go ahead and make those dials for you. And we've hired additional ISAs and have been training them for the last week. They're just about ready to rock and roll. So we've been training them up and getting them ready to rock so they can handle and manage those calls for you guys. But this is a very limited beta that we're going to do because we want to make sure that we can see profitability for ourselves as well, because ISAs cost us money. And we know that they can get them over to the lender appointments, but the only way that we'd profit on this beta is anytime somebody actually purchased a home and came through you guys. So we see it as a way that it's going to help benefit our agents, and it's going to benefit us, because if we're doing everything that we need to do and getting those folks over to the lenders, getting them pre-approved, you guys are going to close more deals. We're going to profit a little tiny bit off of each one of those deals that closes, but it gives kind of a win-win. And if this beta works out well and you guys are starting to see more closings, we'll open the door to more folks as time goes on.
Is there a cost associated for us for the ISA calls?
So
Is there a cost for us?
No, so that's why we're running this as a very limited beta on
Okay.
those, because as long as you're generating the buyer leads,
Okay.
we have a system that we can plug in where your leads will go from your account to our ISA's account. They'll make that dial out of the gate, and then get them on the hook for the lender side. And then as long as we get that pre-approval and we can see that, hey, out of 100 leads, we're able to get 3 or 4 apps, and out of those 3 or 4 apps, we're getting 1 pre-approval, and then the agent is getting a conversion. We feel that that's a win, even though we're taking a pretty big bath, only earning 175 on that for the ISA. You guys are going to then get some closings, which means that you're going to be happy with us and you're going to stick with us longer and keep with the program, right? Even though we know our software is awesome enough that you're going to stick with us anyways, our goal at the end of the day is to help you and make sure that you're seeing success. So anybody that's interested in joining up on that, I'll go ahead and plug in my personal calendar link, and we can do a brief interview and cover what we would need to do in order to get you guys signed up and get you going on that platform. And I'm going to grab my calendar right now and plug it into here. So
that sounds good. I would definitely like to talk more with you about it.
Absolutely. And I don't think this calendar actually has our live trainings blocked out. So I'm going to block those out once we get off this call. There we go. Oh, whoops. There we go. So there is the link. In Sue 926. I'm not sure what that was. And actually, instead of my link, you guys, I'm going to give you guys this Colin's link, because I'm going to be overwhelmed with not overwhelmed, but I'm going to be somewhat overwhelmed with training this week because William is on vacation. So I'm going to send a new one out here, and there we go. So, and Deborah, if you have already signed up, go ahead and contact me, and we can chat a little bit more about this. And I think you had signed up under Kelly as well. So I will get with Kelly, and him and I'll work something out if it's something that you want to do. Next week, we are also going to be doing a live training. Deborah, if you click on that, oh, whoops, I sent that out to, go ahead, and anybody that wants to go ahead and book an appointment or a time for that, click on this link that I just added into the chat, and go ahead and book a time on that demo calendar. And we'll be sure to meet with you. So you'll end up on a page just like this, and then you can select a time that works for you. And we can meet with you. Someone from our team will be able to meet with you. It'd be more than likely Colin. And anyone that has already signed up, please feel free to just connect with me, and we'll see if we can get the qualifications for you to get things rocking and rolling. But we do definitely want to keep this very limited, because the more folks we have jump in, the more folks we're going to be training on the ISA side. And we're going to have to hire additional folks, the more people that jump in on this side of the program, because we aren't going to, we don't want to slow down our calls for agents that have signed up for ISA packages. And they've been knocking those appointments out of the park the last couple of weeks. Colin's done a really good job getting those ISAs rocking and rolling, and getting their scripts down so that they can get appointments booked. So it's been pretty awesome. Really happy to see the progress there, and see what he's got everyone doing. He's got 14 years experience as an ISA, and he's absolutely crushing it. I do also want to let you guys know, next Wednesday, we are going to be doing a training with Jonathan Lee. He is a mortgage rep out of Oklahoma, and he's licensed in about 8 different states now. He's been getting licensed where our agents are primarily working, and where we have the largest pools of agents from around the US. And so one of the things that he wants to make sure that he can cover with you guys next week is upcoming changes to mortgage rates. And these are potential changes. So there isn't anything that's set in stone saying that there isn't anything that is set in stone saying that that there are going to be rate increases or hikes, but there potentially could be. And so he's got a really good training series that he's going to be doing next Wednesday to cover that. So I'm going to be sending out additional emails for you guys. I know you get a lot of messages from us for our Monday support, our Wednesday support, our Friday support, and then our Tuesday and Thursday live trainings. But you guys will also get one on Wednesday next week, letting you know a little bit more about this. And it looks like Sue actually just asked me that it's asking for a real estate number. I don't have one, but they did ask for, they asked me to enter my business UBI number when I signed up. So I'll go ahead and post that for you guys as well. So that if you do want to sign up for the Premier Turbo leads, you can enter in my UBI number in place of leads, the Be Known Advertising Leads to ROI UBI number in place of the real estate license. So I'm going to actually pull that up. I don't know it off the top of my head. Okay, and 1 second, I'm looking that up right now. Colin said, hey, I'm getting a bunch of appointments. Washington Secretary of State site is going slow. All right, so our UBI number is 604-294-188. So if anybody goes to sign up in place of using real estate license number, just use that UBI, and that should be a good number and reference for them so that they can understand that. Okay. All right, now we do have about 20 minutes left to go. Kind of went into today's training blind because Kelly wanted me to just kind of go off the cuff from that video that he had. So what questions do you guys have on leads to ROI? What questions do you guys have on listings to leads? Any of the platforms that are out there?
Brian,
Yes.
hi, can I get on the calendar for non-relate, things that are not related to the Premier Turbo and ISA stuff?
Yeah, definitely. What's going on?
Okay. It was too much. I just rather get on the calendar.
Okay.
Just trying to get caught up here a little bit. That's all.
I will send you a DM on the chat with
Okay.
a link. There you go.
Thank you.
Sue, you're saying the number doesn't work?
No, it says invalid sponsor username.
Interesting. Could you, by chance, your credit card details and things like that aren't showing up on the screen, are they?
Well, they're farther
don't-
down the line.
I don't want you to share if your credit card details are on there, but if they're further down the line, go ahead and share your screen. But since this is live on YouTube, I really don't want your credit card info out there.
Yeah, I don't want to be.
So we won't scroll down while you're sharing, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Can you see it now?
I can. So invalid sponsor username. So it's saying, so it's under real estate license number. Go ahead and just try to do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It should go through either way, but. And then unshare your screen and go ahead and then push the button at the bottom. Good. I don't want I just don't want the credit card info to show up there.
Nope, invalid sponsor.
Okay, I will get with Matt and figure out what's going on there. Jim was able to sign up using that. Is Jim Neal still on here? It looks like Jim already jumped off for the day. I think it's because he already signed up. Could you try doing it with it blank without any number there?
Okay. No, it didn't like it.
Interesting. I'm going to message Matt really fast.
Brian, the last time when Kelly did that webinar, he had given us his license number. I have it.
Well, it's not Kelly's license number that we're going to use for that.
Okay.
Because this is signing up through us versus Kelly.
Oh, okay.
But
I
we
see.
are under Kelly, and that's why Kelly wanted me to do a training on this today.
Okay.
So. So Sue, I will get back with you on that. I'm not exactly sure why it's not working. It should
Okay.
work. But I will get a response. It looks like Matt finally read my message. Can you send me a screenshot of what it's saying so that I can forward that on to him? And let me actually send you a Facebook message. I heard it.
You heard Facebook?
Matt says use all zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 zeros is what he said. And actually, if you could share your screen, Sue, if you're not, as long as you're not showing your credit card numbers, if you could share your screen. I just want to kind of see how the rest of the form was filled out.
Okay, so you said 8.
Oh, referring member name. So there, is
Oh.
there nothing that you can click on there?
Sure, kind of looks like it.
Could
Yeah,
you
that
try
could
to
be an issue.
refresh? Yeah, I think that's the issue. Could you try to refresh the page? There we go. So then at the top, so in that first box there, where it says Premier Turbo Team, go ahead and type in Be Known Advertising LLC. Or will it not let you do it?
No,
Did you click on the link that I plugged into the chat?
no, let's do it again. Hold on. Oops, that's wrong. one.
Not that one. I'll resend it. That way it's because I know it's a little further up the list. Oh, and I guess it's my name and not Be Known Advertising. Interesting. So if you click on that link that I just sent through, Sue. Cool, my info is already there. Oh, and it looks like they gave me a real estate license number of some kind. Oh, that's
Ah,
my EIN. It's my EIN. Okay, cool. So I
And then
guess it
this is
already
my number.
pre-fills if you guys click on the link. So
Okay.
go ahead and unshare your screen. I don't want anybody to see all your details and all that good stuff. Awesome, thank you. What questions do you
Okay.
guys have for listings to leads, My Plus leads, leads to ROI, any of the platforms that we're running like Home Partner Program, anything along those lines?
I have a general question if nobody else does.
Go ahead.
I was watching something from our EXP icon series about online leads, and they said you should like call like 3 times a day. The first day Can we set up a workflow that would kind of remind us to call all these leads a few hours later? I mean, you don't always have the time. I mean, we're trying to help people that we're already in progress with, but
Absolutely. Now, there's actually two different, I think that's a great question. I always actually recommend making that call 3 times a day, the first day that you have a lead that comes in. Most agents won't do it though. And that's just cold hard facts. But if it is something that you wanted to set that up, there are a couple of different ways that you can go about doing it. And so Sue, I'm actually going to share it in your account if you don't mind.
no, it's fine.
Awesome. So where you guys will actually go for that, if you want to set up some kind of an automation geared around that, you can go right here on your automation tab. So when you guys sign in, first thing you're going to see is your dashboard. If we go down to automation right here, you will then enter your guys' workflows right out of the gate. So what we can do is, let's say that we wanted to do this on the buyer side and focus for buyers. What you would do is, you can see we do have a leads to ROI buyer call workflow that's already in place, or the regular buyer workflow. Now, the buyer call workflow, what this is going to do is it's going to trigger and queue these leads up into a manual call so that you can use your power dialer and go down the list to call those leads. And I guess I should probably show you guys the power dialer on here as well, so that all kind of makes sense. And Sue, you have had leads that are coming in through there, so you should have a bunch of folks that are loaded up in there too. Let's go ahead and just
Yep.
put these 2 tabs right next to each other. I'm gonna get rid of Facebook and this, and we'll get rid of here and Kelly's StreamYard. All right, so in your guys' accounts, if you want to get into your power dialer, you can click on, you can go ahead and click on your guys' conversations. And from conversations, you're going to see a tab that says manual actions. If you're on your mobile app and you're doing it from your device, there's going to be a little hamburger menu that's those 3 squiggly lines at the top. It's not squiggly, but 3 lines, one on top of each other. They call that a hamburger menu in the nerdy tech world, because it looks like a hamburger, 2 buns and a patty. Go ahead and click on that and you'll see manual actions. And from manual actions, you'll be able to get to your auto dialer. But if we click on manual actions, we can see that we have all of these calls that have been loaded in here from back in November. And we're going to have these calls that are loaded in all the way through today. So if we just go next, 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 it's going to get us loaded up to today's most recent one that is in there. So for you guys to go ahead and actually use this power dialer, all you have to do is click the Let's Start button. And what it's going to do is it's going to start calling the very first lead that's on your list. And it's going to take us all the way down this list. You have about a 40-second timer in between calls, and this is automatically going to pull up your contact record here. And then it's going to cycle from one contact record to the next. So once you've completed the call, it's going to ask you a disposition. So whether they answered, whether they didn't answer, and whether you were able to qualify the lead or not. So really cool. I personally, I love this portion of the platform because it makes things easy, and it's kind of a no-brainer. You just click the Let's Start button and it starts calling straight down. I personally do things a little bit different on my end, but that's just from personal preference and efficiency and speed. I prefer to go into, say, a smart list, and we could say like FSBO, for example. I can start this call on my first FSBO lead, and then I can actually cycle over to the next FSBO lead, log my notes after I call, click the button, jump in, open up my call script if I've got somebody that's on the phone, log my notes, do all of those things, right? So we can open up these ones don't have email addresses, so the call script won't work on this one, but you guys can log your calls there. Now, if you want to set this up to where you have reminders, there's a couple of different ways to do it. Number one, you could either have the system call you, and you can actually go ahead and add in a whisper here. So when it calls you and you pick up your phone, it's going to, it'll say whatever this message is that you have here. So what I would put is contact.name. So it's going to say, call John Smith, first attempt. And so I would label these based off of the number of attempts that we're doing. So if we're attempting the first call, I would have that be labeled as first attempt. Second call, I would have that be labeled as second attempt, third attempt, all the way down the list. And so if you set this up as a call action versus a manual call, the system is going to call you once that lead comes in. So the first step is it's going to assign it to the user. This is going to take roughly less than 5 seconds for this to take action. And then the system's automatically going to call you. Your phone's going to ring. You're going to click press 1 to connect. Once you press 1, it's automatically going to call the lead and attempt to get them on the phone. So that's essentially your 2 different options for calls in the system. Now, a third way that you could do this. So if we want to do this, Sue, for example, we would say first attempt. And so we would save this. Then you would have a call where the system calls you. You would set a wait for maybe 2 hours. And then you would go ahead and you would log another call here. And then you would make this second attempt. And then it's all the way down the list. And I would do a call with, I would do the first call right when they first came in, because speed to lead is extremely important. The second call that I would do, I would give them an hour to a 2-hour buffer. And then I would give another hour to 2 hours before your third contact attempt to that lead. Now I'm going to remove this from here. If you want to add these back in, or if you want to plug these back in, you definitely can. Now, the next way that you guys can do this is set a reminder for yourself would be to simply to add a task. Actually, I will give you a fourth way to do this too. So you could add a task in here for yourself. Now, the downside with adding a task is that your tasks are going to populate into your system every day at 8 a.m. So these aren't triggered to API as soon as the lead comes in. These are for setting a task for the following day. So actually, I'm going to scratch the task. We'll say no on the tasks. Let's do it a different way. We'll do an internal notification. So you can have the system send you an internal notification based off of your own time parameters of what you'd like to see. So you can have that be an email. You can have that be a notification that pops up on your mobile device, or you can have that be a SMS. So you essentially could set up a SMS or a notification to yourself. And from that notification, you can plug in things like user first name, or not user, excuse me, contact first name, contact phone number, or contact full name. Let's go contact full name. Let's go contact phone number, and then contact email. So that way you actually have their info coming directly through to you on that, and you have a notification that gets pushed to you on your device. You just click on the notification. It's going to pull the contact record from that message. And you can see here we have a redirect page. So we want to redirect this to the contact. And then here we would say all users. So every user, as soon as you click on this notification, it's going to redirect you to the contact. We would name this call lead first attempt. So this way you get a prompt, and then we essentially do the exact same thing. So once we've gone ahead and plugged this in, you're going to get a notification with their name, their phone number, their email. It's going to say call lead first attempt. You click on it. It's going to drive you directly to the contact record here in the CRM, but it will be in the mobile view on your phone. Once you've gotten the mobile view of it, all you have to do is click this button and go ahead and call them out. So there's a green call button next to their info on the mobile app. Click the button and it's going to go ahead and call that lead for you. And then you could set up a wait like this just by clicking the plus and searching for wait. Once you've done that, you click wait, and then you would select the amount of time that you want in between notifications to yourself to call that lead. Do those all kind of make sense, Sue?
Yeah, so we can adjust the workflow to make us call them right away. I just said watch something on the EXP thing that you should call them like 3 times the first day, depending on when the lead comes in. If they come in at 4 o'clock at night, no, you're not going to call them at 9 o'clock at night.
Definitely. Yeah. So what I would say is if you have the lead come in at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I would have them reach out right out of the gate. I would reach out to them right out of the gate, and then I would maybe make one more attempt, as long as it was before, say, 7. I don't like to make calls after 7 o'clock, but I would make one more attempt before the day was over, and then I would put it on my books to call them first thing in the morning.
No, that's pretty cool. Thanks.
Absolutely. Looks like I've got a question from Justin. Let me actually pull this up for you, Justin, so I can show you what's going on. And Justin, from what I'm seeing, it looks like you had some database leads that were sent over, and it looks like we've had one seller lead that has come in, but it looks like we haven't. It's just kind of the import from those old leads. Again, speed to lead is extremely important when we're doing follow-up, when we're reaching out to leads, whether it's buyers, sellers, or any kind of lead. And so when we're reaching out to old leads, we have a very low appointment rate on those because they're not somebody that's telling us right now that they're in the mode and they're interested. But to check to see calls that are going on those, there is a section under the additional info that will show your most recently logged note that is on there. And so if the ISA was able to get in contact with them and logged a note based off of their conversation, you'll see it under that particular tab. But all of your leads are in the ISA pool and they are being called on. And the ISAs are reaching out to all of those folks. So it's just that because they are old leads and they are from a database, it's really hard to drum up business from those because it's not somebody that has interest right now in purchasing a home. So it takes a little bit more time to scrub through those and get those folks kind of warmed up and get them over for an appointment. So what I would recommend if you want to get those appointments rolling in as quickly as possible would be to either go into, what I would do is I would go to this L2L ad build right here and go ahead and fill out this form and complete this survey. And once you complete this survey, just let us know what type of ad you want us to build and run. And we'll go ahead and we'll build it and we'll get it rocking and rolling for you. And that'll start generating some leads coming into your account. They've been booking tons of appointments on the buyer side. And we've got it to where we're getting 2 to 3 appointments now with 4 callers on the FSBO side, which FSBO is a really difficult call to make. And I'm very, very impressed with how well the team is overcoming those objections and moving those leads into appointments. So awesome, you guys. Let me see. If so for today, it looks like we are just a little bit over on time and it's 2:06. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up this meeting. If anybody needs to book support, that kind of stuff, always remember we have the support hours Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Mondays and Fridays, it is at 11 o'clock PST. On Wednesdays, I have that set for 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for a little bit different time of the day, an hour earlier. And then, of course, we have these live trainings Tuesdays and Thursdays. And there is a link for support or a link for a demo in the chat If anybody needs support, you guys can go ahead and jump on there. So I appreciate everybody taking the time and jumping on with us today. If anybody wants to sign up for the Premier Turbo Leads, just click through that link that is in the chat, sign up there. And we can get you guys set up in a demo there to where we can start calling. And then Justin, if you do want to start running some ads, I'll keep those leads going into the ISA pool so that we can get you some appointments booked. It's just really tough with old leads. So I appreciate everybody joining, and I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow in our live training, because William will be out. Have a good one. Well
Have a good
support
one.
out.